Do you know this verse? It's in Lamentations 3, and it says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, O Lord." It's one of those verses that kind of ends up as a picture on your wall. I'm pretty sure I had one when I first got saved. Or it ends up as a needlepoint cushion that you sort of have in your houses. And we do that because it's so encouraging. And I'm not knocking us learning those verses because they're really important. They're really valuable to me. It's verses like this that sort of come to mind and bring me up short on bad days. And they make me think, hang on a minute. God's mercy is new every morning. What am I carrying from yesterday that's making me not start afresh today? So we really do need to learn these verses. But I think that too often we stop with these needlepoint cushion verses and we just leave them there. And the writer of the letter to the Hebrews, he said, yeah, drinking baby milk is supposed to be on solid food. And I feel like this verse in Lamentations, it makes making that point. This encouraging, faith-filled verse of the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercy never comes to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, O God. That verse did not come out of a happy place. The guy who wrote this, he said, "I'm a man who has seen affliction." Okay, listen to some of the words he uses. He says in Lamentations 3, he uses words like darkness, besieged, enveloped in bitterness, crying but no one hearing, praying and God shutting out his prayers. He says, "God has taken arrows and he has shoved them into my kidneys." I mean, it's pretty bleak, isn't it? But you must know what he's experiencing. Those times when neither God nor people are helping you in your situation. And then suddenly from that desolate, like a painful place, comes this incredible verse. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, O God. I don't know whether it was faith or desperation that made him say that. But the thing is, he didn't stop there. He didn't leave that verse as a picture up on his wall. He did something with it. And he uses that verse to fuel the choices he then goes on to make. And he says, "Therefore, I will wait for God. I will seek him." And there's this sense of praying, a sense of communing with God, and it takes time for him to do this. This investment of his time and his energy and his focus, it's an effort. Hence this sense of, I'll wait on God. And it's not an easy communion that he has with God. He pours out his heart over the situation he's in, and he contrasts that with the character of God. He says God is unfailing, God is justice, God is forgiving of sins. But it doesn't feel like he's encouraging himself. It feels more like an argument. It feels like he's going, this is my situation. And it's like, oh, yeah, but God. But no, this is my situation. And back and forth it goes. By not stopping with the platitudes, with the cliche verses, with just that sense of maybe kind of feeling or desperation verses, by allowing that verse to fuel his faith, he ends up wrestling with God over the big issues of his life. And then a surprising thing happens. He starts repenting for his sins. He says, "Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord." I can't quite see how he came to the conclusion that he needed to repent, but I can see how wrestling with God was only the start. It also then threw more fuel on that fire, and he starts saying, "I've not responded in the right way to this situation." Now, he does say, "Pay back, Lord, all those people what they deserve. So he's not saying everything in the situation was his fault, and you know, he's obviously still got some issues here, but he acknowledges where he's been wrong in the situation. He wrestles, he repents, and he says, God heard my pleas from the depth of the pit I was in. And then he makes this incredible statement. He says, you, Lord, took up my case. You redeemed my life. At the very start of this process, he says, God is not listening to me. And now, God isn't just listening, God is acting on his behalf. He believes that God will step in and vindicate him. He's invested in his faith. It's inspired him to wrestle. And the result is God is now on his side in this fight. Look what happens when we don't leave our encouraging verses as pictures on the wall. Look what happens when we use it to inspire our faith and to spur us on in our relationship with Jesus. But the thing is, that takes huge effort on our part. And maybe that's why we leave them as pictures on our wall.